Welcome to the latest edition of Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime with me, Marshan Kenny. Well, normally I get into fan comments for this show, but this week I want to deliver a message. And if you don't want to listen to the message and get straight to Nick Mullens' interview, I totally understand. Go ahead and fast forward and get to that interview. But I've got a message because I just feel it needs to get off my chest. So last week, obviously, we got our asses handed to us in Tallahassee by Florida State. It's football. You play this damn game long enough, you're eventually going to get your ass handed to you. Hell, you live long enough, you're going to get your butt kicked a lot in life. It just happens. But what inspires people is how you bounce back. And this Saturday, you've got the perfect opportunity from everyone involved at Southern Miss to bounce back at a place that means so much to so many people, and that's the Rock. Guys, anybody on the football team watching this, we've got the talent in place now. You've got the talent to win the rest of your games. You can't tell me otherwise. This is year 3 of Coach Hall, and he's building something special. So let's make something special happen at the Rock this weekend. And I'm so passionate about the Rock because I just know the Rock in certain ways. I know the Rock from 1997, Patrick Surtain, hitting a Houston wide receiver so hard that his helmet goes one way, his teeth go another way, and it was like a gladiator arena in there with people cheering it on because they knew Houston couldn't wait to get back on the bus because all their faces looked so defeated. That's the Rock I know. That's the Rock a lot of people know. The Rock I know for years, played before me and years after. The Rock I know is the rules are right here, and the players on the field play right about that level. And if somebody pisses you off to the point where you feel you might need to teeter on that line, so be it. That's the Rock. That's the kind of style and vibe the Rock was built on. It's nasty, it's mean, it's salty, it's different. That's the Rock. It always reminds me, too, early 2000s, we weren't really losing a lot of games at the Rock. And a writer from the Sporting News called Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Hadesburg, Mississippi, Hadesburg, because it was one hell of a place for opposing teams to play. Things like that, that's the Rock I know. So everybody involved at Southern Miss, if you're really locked into this, if you love the Rock, make it what it's supposed to be. This Saturday, it's supposed to be nasty. It's supposed to be chip on your shoulder, salty, and hell, at times a little violent because it's a grown man's game. Tulane needs to get on the bus after the game and be like, what the hell just happened? You know, that's the Rock that a lot of people know. That's the Rock a lot of people have expected for a long time. So let's see that this Saturday when Tulane comes to town, because I'm going to be a little salty out there. I hope you will too. Well, if you're here for the interview, I've got a great one today. It comes with Southern Miss's all-time leading passer, a guy in his 7th year in the NFL. He's currently with the Minnesota Vikings. He's a fan favorite. So today I'm bringing you Nick Mullens. Well, today's interview is with the Southern Miss all-time passing leader. He was the 2-time Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year by the time he was finished. He's in his 7th year in the NFL and now with the Minnesota Vikings. So with all that said, I'm bringing you a fan favorite, quarterback Nick Mullens. And Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I love talking Southern Miss, so excited for the show.
Oh, yeah, man, I couldn't wait to get you on. You have no idea how many people say, get Nick Mullens on like yesterday. So here we are, man. Really appreciate it. By the time you're done at Southern Miss, you threw for over 12,000 yards, 87 touchdowns. I mean, shattered the record book at Southern Miss for passing. Looking back at all that and currently how you feel, what does Southern Miss mean to you?
I love Southern Miss. I mean, anywhere where I spend so much time, work as hard as I can, and great memories with great people, I'm going to be super loyal to, and that's Southern Miss. I still talk to a bunch of my buddies all the time about every game. So it's a great place. I met my wife there, so I can't say enough about how special Southern Miss is to me. I can't get back enough, but when I'm done playing, I'll definitely get back a lot, and I can't wait for that.
Oh yeah, social media lights up when you're back in Hattiesburg, man. Pictures of Nick Mullens everywhere. Come on. And one thing about you that made you so successful in your career, and I've read this from coaches, players, you have a relentless work ethic. Where does that come from?
Oh, well, I think first my parents. My dad works as hard as he can to support the family, and then my mom has great spirit and always is super encouraging. So I think it comes from them first, and then I've loved football since I was a little kid. I've loved sports, all sports, and playing them with my friends and teammates. So I think the combination of all of that, and then you're not the most talented guy in the world. I feel I've always been a decent player, but I've never been the most talented. So you got to separate yourself somewhere. So if you just work hard, that's kind of where I got it from, and I've had great support along the way.
Oh, great message right there. And it definitely had to start somewhere. And that was Spain Park High School in Birmingham, Alabama, where you were the Gatorade Player of the Year. I mean, you had a heck of a high school run right there. Talk about the high school days a little bit. Give me some stories.
It was fun. It really was. So Coach Chip Lindsey, he was at Southern Miss, obviously, now at University of North Carolina. He kind of came in my junior year of high school and was like, all right, we're going to throw this thing across the yard. And it was fun. It really was. I mean, we did pretty good my sophomore year. We had some really good players. But we had a core group of receivers my junior and senior year of high school that I'm still best friends with today. And we threw it across the yard. We had fun. We made plays. And there's nothing better in high school football. I actually went back. We were off this weekend, so I got to go back and watch Spain Park play this Friday. And there's nothing like high school football. There's really not. It's Friday Night Lights with your best friends, and that's the best.
Oh, a great story right there. And you were good enough to get some D1 looks, and you had an interesting recruiting process. During the time of the recruiting, you verbally committed to UAB, but wound up backing off and choosing Southern Miss. So talk a little bit about the recruiting process and how Southern Miss won you over.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind. I wasn't really heavily recruited. Conference USA, Sun Belt interest going into my senior year. I actually I committed to Jacksonville State before my senior year of high school because it was like really the only offer I had. So I was like, might as well just commit somewhere. Had a really good senior year and committed to UAB, and I thought it was kind of over. But that next week, Coach Monken got the job. Coach John Wozniak came to Spain Park, and they wanted me to come on and visit. And I was like, I don't really want to go. Like, I knew Southern Miss was a great program. I knew they were a winning program. I didn't really care about the 0-12 record. I was like, all right, this place, like, they've won for a long time. Like, I know that, so I'm not too worried about 0-12. I was like, all right, I'll go on the visit. And then we went on the visit, obviously saw all this cool stuff Southern Miss had to offer, and committed, switched, and definitely don't regret it.
Yeah, and we're getting a lot of the stories made you just a great Southern Miss quarterback, but you took words out of my mouth. Your first year there in 2013, they're coming off an 0-12 season. It was the worst turnaround in the history of college football. I mean, it wasn't the best vibes. Getting on campus, the vibe from the fans and the vibe from just administration, what was it like? I mean, they had a lot of rebuilding to do.
Yeah, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, we were pretty like optimistic going into Coach Monken's first year. We were like, all right, last year, like, we don't know what's going on. And I'm a freshman at this point, so I'm like, all right, we're going to see what college football is all about. And was it a great year? No, absolutely not. But, as a freshman, maybe ignorance is bliss, but like, I was confident. Like, I played terrible, but I was still confident going out there. So it was fun as a freshman. And then obviously you have, end the season on a good note against UAB. And that was a great game all around. So it was a growing process. We knew it was going to take time, and it did. But that's all part of it.
Oh, yeah, and great stuff right there. I got a little ahead of me because I do want to get into some details because it's great stories. So we're 0-6 during the season. I mean, it's just we had to get back these winning ways. A lot had happened in that prior year. But Coach Monken made one of the best decisions of his coaching career, if you ask me. He decides we're starting this freshman, Nick Mullens, against North Texas. And you're like, all right, let's do this, man, as a freshman. How did that feel? You're getting the first start young and early in your career.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was exciting. I remember it real like it was yesterday against North Texas, and they actually had a really good defense. They had good players. Um, was I ready as far as development goes? I don't know, but I went out there. We obviously some tough games for us, but getting to start as a freshman, you got to just embrace it, be thankful for it, and do the best you can. So it was hard, but it was a lot of fun, and it was nice to be just playing football. And obviously, we had a lot of room to improve.
Yeah, and then first game jitters. I mean, is what it is. But we saw potential that next week at Marshall, where you threw for over 300 yards. The first quarterback as a freshman to ever do that in Southern Miss history. Do you remember that Marshall game? I mean, we saw flashes of what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, we were throwing it around. I remember hit a long seam to Marquise Triplet. So we did have some talent, but it's just a matter of putting it all together. And Marshall's a cool spot, actually. It's obviously pretty rich in football tradition. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, very cool. And then, we still weren't winning, obviously. And then there was a lot to turn around. I mean, that 2012 season, a lot happened to get right, but you stayed the path. Coach Monken stayed the path and getting that last game at UAB, more or less where you grew up, playing at UAB to break this 23-game streak. And, man, walk me through that night. Got the win in front of a big family and friend crowd for you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play good, I guess I picked a good time to do it. I had some high school buddies across on the UAB sideline, so that was kind of fun. And we just put it all together. We got turnovers, and then we had explosive plays with the flea flicker to Marquise Ricard. And it's actually hilarious looking back because after the first year, we scored on the first opening drive, and we were like, all right, this is it. We're going to go. So I remember coming off the sideline and I was like, Coach Monk, I know we're not very good, but they're not very good. So we're going to win this one. And I'll never forget that. I thought it was funny. And it was awesome just to not have to hear about a winning or losing streak my sophomore year. It was good to win the last game.
Oh, yeah, you had a monster game, 370 yards, passing, 5 touchdowns, 1 rushing. So really good job right there. Got big monkey off the back finally and on the winning way. So get to that 2014 season, your sophomore, you're the solid starter clearly right now. Start off 3-4 that season, kind of getting this winning vibe back. I mean, you can really feel Todd Monken is the guy, you're the guy. We're going to get back. It's just a matter of time. Were you starting to feel the mojo coming back a little bit at Southern Miss?
Yeah, I would actually say so. I mean, whether people believe it or not, I actually don't think we were not that bad my sophomore year. Like you said, we were 3-4. I would have liked to seen where it could have gone if I could have stayed healthy the whole year. I hurt my foot, and that was a grind. But it was a fun year. And then that was the first year that Casey Martin and Michael Thomas were on the team. And they were big-time playmakers, and you could tell that. So once we started making those plays with Casey and Mike, we were excited for the years to come.
Oh, heck yeah, a lot of excitement starting to build. You knew that 2015 season with you and then Coach Monk, and some big things were about to come. We'll get into those too. But I want to ask you kind of off the field question. You're a D1 quarterback at this point. What's student life like for you, off the field and things like that, being in Hattiesburg, being the big guy on campus?
I don't know. I mean, I kept it pretty chill. If you're winning, it's a lot of fun. We weren't winning too much, but it was still a lot of fun. Just hung out with a lot of my best friends. Lance Schufert and Matthew Mosley, Will Freeman, so many guys to name. Cameron Tom, me and Cameron Tom, we had every single class together for our first 3 years of college. So we were tight, and that was really special. But it was fun. I still love going on campus. It's a great campus, underrated campus, and it's beautiful. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, it's changed a lot over the years to being a really fantastic college location. So now we're getting into this season coming up, your junior year. I mean, you are one of the better quarterbacks in America at this point, and you put up monster numbers. Let me read these, Nick, so I don't mess them up for you. So this year, your junior year, 4,476 yards, 38 touchdowns, single season school records at Southern Miss. So just kind of setting the tone of what's about to happen. Did you know you're about to have a big year? Did things start clicking in your mind?
I always felt like I could be pretty good. I didn't know when exactly it was all going to come together, but I always felt like I was a pretty good player. And I mean, I had to really had to fight for my position my junior year. You know, we had the quarterback competition going through camp, and I feel like that actually really pushed me and got me a lot better. And so then going into Mississippi State game, I mean, that was an awesome atmosphere in itself. And we hung with them. I mean, that's not the goal to hang with the team. Um, a very good Mississippi State team at that. But we were encouraged by that start, and then it was off. That was a good start to a great season.
Yeah, wait, I want to ask you about that Mississippi State game. I mean, that was an electric atmosphere. I was there. It was packed. It was a 9 o'clock kickoff. If you remember, late as could be. Really had that night atmosphere. What's it like playing at the Rock when it's like that?
It's awesome. There's nothing better than Rock. I'll take that to my grave. I love the Rock. The fans, just the songs on third downs when you're on the sideline, you know, the defense is about to make a stop. And then touchdowns, it's all awesome. I haven't been back really since I guess my senior year. My wife has, and she was sure to let me know how awesome it still is. And so I can't wait to get back.
Oh, heck yeah. No, they can't wait to get you back on campus. And then, you know, early on in the season, go to Nebraska, close win. I mean, you could have pulled that one off too at the end, but playing tight with Mississippi State, playing tight with Nebraska, you at the helm putting up big numbers. It's pretty obvious Southern Miss is about to get back to these winning ways. And there's one game from your junior year where it's obvious, okay, we're on to something, playing Rice and beat them 65-10. You put up monster numbers. When you're in the zone like that, what's it like for a quarterback just knowing I got this day taken care of?
Yeah, I mean that was a really fun game. That game and even the Texas State game, the 56-50 game. I mean those games were they're awesome. I mean anytime you're scoring a lot of points, and I always say like the guys who had offense were special. Like Rashad Hill at tackle played multiple years in the NFL. Julian Allen as that tight end played in the NFL and the XFL. You got Ito, Jalen Richard, Michael Thomas. All NFL players. Casey Martin, don't know how he wasn't an NFL player. DJ Thompson. So, like, at this point, we had a really good group, a collective group, a cohesive group. So when you have guys like that playing around you, it makes quarterback really, really fun. And so we were humming, and we kind of knew it, you know. We knew we were a good team, and it was just how far we could take it from there.
No, heck yeah. That Texas State game, too, that was a memorable finish right there. Went right down to the wire. But it's teeing up for a great year. Everything you're doing and the team's doing. Finally get back to these winning ways. You're 8-3. And one of my favorite games I've ever seen at Southern Miss against La Tech. And the winner gets that CUSA West Division title and heads to the Conference USA Championship game. Talk about the buildup up there in Ruston and knowing how big this game was to really get back to Southern Miss standards of having shots at winning championships.
Yeah, 100%. You kind of said it best. It's like all the other games are important, but we knew that this one was, you know, if you want to achieve your goals, you got to win certain games. And this was kind of one of those games. And so going in, we were confident. Knew we had a good team, knew we had good players, and then it was just a matter of going and doing it. Our coaches were doing a great job at this point, calling all the right plays, scheming stuff up. And it was awesome. Michael Thomas had the one-handed catch of the year, basically. Ito and Jalen went off, and then we got turnovers on defense with Kalen Reed and a handful of big-time playmakers over there. So that was awesome. That was really fun. In the rain, you know, like it just makes it cooler when it's raining, you know. It's just fun to look back on, and it was awesome. And it's cool to win at the Rock, but be able to take over somebody else's stadium is also pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a fun game to watch, man. Southern Miss fans could finally really high five again, head to the Conference USA Championship game against a really good Western Kentucky team. Didn't pull it off, but dang, we got back to a bowl and played Washington, big name team. Southern Miss finally back on the map, and all this hard work and numbers you've been putting up paying off. Don't win that bowl game, but dang, we're back talking what Southern Miss is all about. Would that make you feel? Bowl games, conference championship games, you know, year 3, we got this thing turned around.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you'd like to finish on a strong note, but I feel like we accomplished so much just within ourselves that season. 9-10 wins and, you know, just playing well against a lot of really good opponents. It was cool. It was a special year. It's one of the more fun years I've had ever playing football. And that's because of the people and the talented players that we were doing it with. And then basically just to get the town buzzing again. Like the Hattiesburg, it's like you win and the juice around the city is awesome. It's so much fun. So we could definitely feel that.
Oh, heck yeah. And one guy, leading the way there was head coach Todd Malkin. Saw him through some tough years, just like you did, building this incredible Southern Miss story from the bottom back to kind of where we need to be. And how was that working with Coach Todd Malkin throughout the process?
Yeah, Coach Malkin's awesome. I mean, when he was in Southern Miss, he would talk about how he cares for his players and all that, and he did to the utmost level. I mean, you text him now, I'll text you right back. Like he's that type of coach, and that was awesome. Just be able to play for a guy like that with his wisdom, with his energy, his passion. There's really not a lot of people like him. I can't wait for for everybody to see him run the Ravens offense this year because he's special. There's not a lot of people like Coach Todd Malkin. So definitely thankful for him. Obviously, he recruited me. He got me there. And then he took my game to the next level along with Coach Lindsey. So definitely owe a lot to both of those guys.
Oh, yeah. I haven't heard anybody say a bad thing about Coach Malkin and, to turn everything back around, with you at the helmet quarterback. What a great run he had. Unfortunately, you get noticed when you do things like that, and he did move on. Was it sad to see him go, or, you just kind of that's a coaching thing? How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, it was. I don't know if I can't remember that I totally expected it. But I mean, that's the business that we're in. You win, you do good, and you just go to the next step. And so it is what it is. I mean, it's a reward basically, like you do good and you're rewarded. That's part of the business. But it was awesome having him as our coach.
Oh, heck yeah. Nothing but good vibes for Coach Malkin right there. And you mentioned a couple names right there. I mean, you had arguably maybe the best duo in running back history at Southern Miss. I mean, I'll listen to that argument with Edo Smith and Jalen Richard. How was that having those two guys behind you?
It was awesome. They were so good. And Jalen Richard has an awesome story. I guess I'll let him tell it, but as far as going through the fraternity and not knowing if he was going to be even on the team his senior year, and then obviously coming back, earning the trust of the coaches, balling out a senior year, and then obviously going on to a great NFL career. You can't make that stuff up. So those guys were big time playmakers, and they can catch too. They had a lot of completions out of the backfield. Coach John Simon would always remind me, "Hey, throw it to the back. The back's open. The back's open." I'll never forget him always telling me that, and they were right. So yeah, they were dynamic, and that's definitely what you want out of a running back. And Edo, nobody could tackle him. Not the biggest guy, but strong as heck, and shake like crazy. So you couldn't tackle him, and that was awesome because he was on our team.
Oh, heck yeah, man. What a offensive weapons we had at that point. But, Coach Malkin does leave. Coach Jay Hobson comes in and take the helm. How was that transition, learning a new system, just newer things maybe with Coach Hop in charge for 2016, your senior year?
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. We had a collective group. We knew we had some guys coming back. And, it's just like any transition. You got to get used to new concepts, new terminology, different things like that. But it was good. It really was. And we had some great people around us. And so it was our senior year, and we were definitely excited for it.
Yeah, and it's senior year. You talk about generate excitement quickly. Looking at the schedule, open up at Kentucky. And one of my favorite Southern Miss games I've ever seen in my life. Almost jumped through the roof. I wish I could have been there, but I was at a house party. Almost jumped through the roof with the comeback down 34-10 in the second half. And you just get in that rare zone that a quarterback gets into. Talk about that comeback at Kentucky, beating an SEC team on the road, which we hadn't done in a little while, and what that meant for you guys.
Yeah, it was huge. When you get the schedule in the spring or whenever it was, it's like, all right, we had a good team last year. These are the types of teams we can beat. The not the most elite teams, but the pretty darn good teams. And so those are the type of teams you want on your schedule. And so we knew that we definitely had a chance going up there to Kentucky. Believed in our group. And started out pretty rough, but then we just kind of refocused, got the touchdown before half, ran the ball great in the second half, had the fourth down touchdown to Julian, So it just kind of all came together. Turnovers helped, and when it gets rolling like that, you can score a lot of points. And so now Shannon Dawson's homecoming after his year in Kentucky, so that was kind of fun to just kind of rub some juice on it. And it was a really cool win. That locker room after that game was pretty cool.
Oh, that's a great video of you, man. You got the phone up, the camera dancing. There's water everywhere. It's one of my favorite videos. But that game was absolutely incredible. And I'll pull up on YouTube every now and then. I definitely pulled it up before we got the interview just to get some good vibes going again. But man, the offense is just clicking at this point. I mean, whether Coach Hop is a coach or Coach Malkin, there's a game against Rice. I don't know if you had something against Rice because you put up monster numbers against this team. But you threw for almost 600 yards, and we had almost over 700 yards of total offense against Rice. Do you have a problem with Rice? You like to take your day out on him, man? Because you're putting up these numbers.
I don't know. I mean, it never sat in my mind too hard, but I mean, I did take a visit there in high school, and I loved it. I thought it was an awesome place. As a high school, you're kind of blown away. You're like, hey, this place is really cool. They didn't offer me, so I don't know if that had to do with it or not. But yeah, I mean, you have Alonze Staggers just running post routes, and he's the fastest guy in the field. That makes it pretty easy. So I know we have a lot of explosive plays, and the more explosives you have, the better night it's going to be. And that was definitely one of those nights.
Yeah, I think we're still scoring touchdowns in that game, man. It was just, it was felt bad for the Rice defense, but great job that night. And we always talk at Southern Miss grit, toughness, chip on your shoulder things. And you showed one of the best examples of that I've ever seen. So playing Texas San Antonio your senior year, your a bone in your hand breaks and shoots through your hand, and it's your throwing hand, and you're coming to the sidelines, and basically that's an injury for a quarterback. You're out 6 to 8 months. You tell the trainers and the staff, tape it up, I'm going back in. And what do? They tape the dang thing up, stitch it up, and put you back in with your bone was just sticking out of your hand, Nick. I mean, toughness like that, talk about that moment and just what's in your brain. Like, I got to go back in. I don't care what happens to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it credit to Todd and the sidelines for encouraging me to go back in, first of all. But so yeah, I mean, I threw, the dude just swiped down like this, and it like the top just, yeah, and it so I looked at it and I was like, I broke my thumb, and I ran off to the sideline, and Todd he looked at it and he was like, no, he just dislocated it. It's like, all right, okay. It still hurt like heck, but he popped it back in. I'm like, can you throw? I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll try. So, I mean, that's really all it was. I just tried as best as I could, basically. And we couldn't pull out the win. But, I mean, we did make some plays once we got back out there and rolled. So, yeah, it's part of it. I mean, it's football. It's not an easy sport, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go back in games when I'm hurt a little bit, but I never had a bone shooting out my body. So, kudos to you, man. It's like you want to be remembered as a great player, this and that, but dang, you want to be remembered as tough, and nobody will ever question Nick Mullens' toughness. That next week, even with that just happening on your throwing hand, you guys got to go to LSU, and it's 10-10 at halftime. I mean, playing pretty well overall, lose a game, but how was that? Knowing maybe I'm not quite 100%, and I'm in Death Valley on Saturday night.
Yeah. Yeah, LSU is definitely a place you kind of dream of playing football. It's top of the top. We hung in there for a little while. I know George Payne had a couple of nice runs. Chase Whitehead had some nice catches, and we were moving the ball a little bit, and they had some good players. Didn't win, but yeah, Death Valley is an awesome place to play football, and that was cool. Like Southern Miss is obviously not like the most elite, like it's not Alabama, but like you're going to get to play all those teams. And so being able to go out there and put good stuff on tape against those teams was always awesome.
Yeah, I mean, consider when you had first started to where we're at. I mean, we're 10-10 at halftime against LSU. Could have pulled off the Nebraska game on the road, Mississippi State tooth and nail. So we're kind of back. We got a pattern going to where Southern Miss football should be. And back to bowl games, what have you, and getting to that point, the last game of the season against La Tech, once again, a big game to get bowl eligible. And you got to pull this one off on senior day. What was that vibe like that week? Nova's on the line, get to a bowl game against La Tech.
Yeah. That's kind of one of the main lessons I took from the whole year is like, it might not be the most smooth season overall, but the way that we finished was top of the top. That was the best. And so that's something that I'll always be proud about, is the way that we finished. Corey Robertson made some big time plays in that game. DJ Thompson made some big time plays. And to do that on senior night, your last game at the Rock, against at that time a division rival, it might have not been the most smooth season, but to go out like that, that was a big deal, and that'll always be important to me and the guys that we graduated with.
Oh, heck yeah. And what a Southern Miss career you had at that point. There's still one more game to go. But, I mean, you're back-to-back Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, shattered by far all the school records for passing. I mean, knowing what you had just done at that point before your last game of the season and senior day at the Rock, what did it feel like looking back?
It was awesome. It's a lot of thankfulness, a lot of just great times. And there was still one more game to go. So we were fired up that we got that win, and then we were excited for the bowl game, especially close to home, where a lot of friends and family could go. So it was an exciting time.
Yeah, again, that last game before you're done playing at the Rock, but that last game was a pretty cool game against who's now our big rival, if you ask me, the Raging Cajuns in the Superdome and the New Orleans Bowl. Tons of Southern Miss people are there. I mean, I was there. It was a lot of fun. And talk about that environment and back-to-back bowl games, man. Southern Miss is back on the map again.
Totally. Yeah, it was, I mean, the Superdome, obviously a great venue in itself. And we started out hot, had the 2 big drives, I believe, right off the bat. And then we got to finish it at the end. So it was fun. It was a competitive game, back and forth. Our defense did a really good job of holding them at the end. And, to finally hold a trophy, that's like, you play football, you want to win championships and win bowl games and hold trophies. And so we got to do that. And it was an awesome way to go out.
Oh, but then when it's time to go out right there for good in the Superdome and after holding up the trophy, was it a little bittersweet for you, considering the impact you made and how beloved you are at Southern Miss, knowing I got to take this black and gold off one last time?
Yeah, man, it goes by fast. It really does. Your parents tell you, like, enjoy it. It goes by fast. And now you look up, you're 28, and you're like, man, they weren't joking, So yeah, it goes by fast. And like I said, we all of our Southern Miss guys still pretty much relive the glory days. A lot of times in group texts and things like that. So great memories.
Oh, yeah, looking back, I mean, you are the ultimate Southern Miss story from 2013 to 2016. Just took us from where we didn't need to be back to where we need to be. It's just a great grit, toughness story. I mean, bones coming out of your hands, still playing. So much going on there, man. But you got NFL aspirations, and you have the talent to do it. And you get a chance to play in the East-West Shrine game. How was that matching up against, future NFL guys out there with that All-Star game?
Yeah, it was cool. It was a lot of fun. It's also kind of funny that they make the games. They make the game sound like really fun. Like you're on the East-West Shrine game. Like, that's gonna be so fun. Like, now it's a week of work. It was work. Every day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You're studying the NFL game plan, and you're meeting with people, and then you're practicing, and then meeting with more people. But it was fun. It was competitive. It is like where I first got noticed by the 49ers coach. And so that was definitely needed, and so super thankful for that opportunity. And coming out, you're not going to be the highest draft pick, but you do at least just want a chance. And so that was kind of like I guess an achieved goal of mine, was getting invited to one of those All-Star games. And so it was fun, guys from all over the country and guys that I still cross paths with. So it was cool.
Oh, very cool. And we'll get off of football real quick and get right back on it, because I want to talk about something that's really cool in your life. During college, an All-American couple was taking place at Southern Miss. Nick Mullens, the all-star quarterback, the cheerleader, and they fall in love and decide to get married in 2017, man. How was that, getting married, tying the knot?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Great time of life. It's young, moving fast, and you're just kind of riding the journey. Got married in July, went on the honeymoon, flew out to San Francisco like the next day, So would I exactly sign it up in that timeline? I would have given myself a couple more days to rest before camp. But it was fun. It really was. It's part of the journey. And Haley's awesome. I'm sure Southern Miss girl from Ocean Springs. wouldn't be able to do this journey without her. So it's been a lot of fun for both of us.
Oh, like a movie couple, man. It's an all-American couple, the quarterback and the cheerleader. So congratulations on that. I know it's several years ago though. But yeah, back to the football field. You get to San Francisco and man, you're ready to tackle the NFL world. What would you say were some of the biggest transitions for a quarterback from college to pro?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is probably the terminology. Just having to sit there, hear a play, say the play in the huddle, and then go execute the play. The whole process is completely different from college, from hand signals and things like that. And then you got to worry more about protections, and then everything's faster. More anticipation is needed. Being able to throw with guys right in your face is definitely needed. Those are the skills that pretty much required to play in the NFL at a high level, I feel like. And but I also felt like I had those skills. Like I've always been good at going through progressions, going through reads, moving in the pocket, and things like that. So at that point, you get an opportunity and you just kind of see how far it can go. I wasn't the highest draft pick, but you just work as hard as you can. And, let's see how far we can take this thing. That was kind of my mindset. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the coaches, everybody, like I said early in the interview, people know you have a relentless work ethic, and it paid off, man. I mean, you didn't get to start your rookie year, but that second year, November 1st, 2018, playing the Raiders on a Thursday night, Nick Mullens is about to get his first start. Walk me through that vibe and that feeling leading up to that game, though, man. It's on tonight.
Yeah, Thursday night game. And you just prepare as hard as you can. My family was really excited. I was thankful that the 49ers believed in me because they easily could have gone and signed like an older guy with the situation that we were in. Like, yeah, we got like CJ was hurt. Nick's been on practice squad. Like, they could have signed an older veteran, but they chose to believe in me. So I'm always appreciative of that because that's how the original opportunity started. And then once we got to game time, I was a little nervous. Your first game in the NFL. First play was a pass, and so after that, it was just right back in the ball game, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, y'all pulled off the win, 34-3, and it had one of the best quarterback debuts in the history of the NFL. Let me read some of your stats from that game, man. You had a 152 passer rating, which was the best in the NFL for a debut since 1970. You were the first quarterback in San Francisco history. We're talking Montana, Steve Young. Their history with 3 touchdowns in their debut. Did you know those stats and what they meant after the game when that sunk in?
I guess they all sounded cool. But you're just happy and thankful that you played well. You protected the football and that you won the game. Not much more you can ask for. It was a really cool special night. My family was there, had some friends there, and then your world just kind of starts speeding up after that, your phone, things like that. But it was exciting times.
Yeah, you took a question out my mouth too right there. Do you start feeling kind of this rock star status a little bit? Like it's just a little bit more media, a little bit more this and that. What's it like when you finally made a big name in the NFL?
Yeah, it happens fast, but it's also, I guess you could say, part of the job. But yeah, it happens fast. You just get all these people contacting you the next day. Got to do some pretty cool interviews, talk to some pretty cool people, and definitely thankful for those type of experiences. It's really cool. It's really fun, and that's why you play the game for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. And like I said, you were so recognized, and to throw some Southern Miss ties in here, really cool. You're on a show post game, and you get a call from a Southern Miss quarterback legend, Brett Favre, congratulating you. How'd that feel interacting with Brett and noticing that he just saw what you did?
Yeah, it was really cool. Brett Favre has been super supportive of my journey throughout the years, just in little stops. Coming out in pre-draft, he gave me some pretty cool advice, and then just text, good luck, great game, and then some radio stuff. So he's been super supportive, and I'll always be thankful for that because he's obviously a legend and one of the greatest.
Yeah, and you're making a name in the NFL at that point, whether starting or backing up. And a pretty cool thing in 2019, San Francisco makes the Super Bowl. What's that like, playing in a Super Bowl, man? Or just seeing a Super Bowl and that whole environment, that build up to that week. Guy from Southern Miss, look where I am now.
Yeah, I mean, once it's all over, you kind of say like, man, like I would do anything to be able to get back to that point. And so that's what we're shooting for here in the Vikings this year. And every team is preparing for the season is like, how do we get back? Because you don't realize like how, it's special, it's a big game, but once after you sit down, you say, man, like that is so special. So like, I do a lot to get back to one. And, obviously it's on the goal sheet for sure. But it was cool. It was really cool. We had a really good football team, offense, defense, special teams, coaches, had a really, really good group, great D-line, and some really good people. So to be able to just be a part of that run, be a part of some really special football games, some intense football games. And then you get to the Super Bowl and just the field, the environment. It's like, this is it. It doesn't get bigger than this. And so it was really cool.
Oh, man, the Southern Miss world was so proud to see Nick Mullens on that Super Bowl roster. So you always get to hang your hat on that. And you had a really good run in San Francisco for the 4 years you were there. I'm going to read one more stat so I don't mess it up. Besides that debut in those stats, when you were done at San Francisco, you had joined Joe Montana as the only San Francisco quarterback with 220-plus yards in their 9 straight starts. I mean, did you know that stat? I mean, we're talking Joe Montana here, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's cool. But at the same time, you just try to focus on doing your job, and taking advantage of the opportunity when you get it. The opportunities don't come too often, so you got to take advantage of them. And that's really what the NFL has truly been about.
Yeah, and then you've been a great ambassador for the NFL and doing some big things. And like you said, 21-22, Philly, Cleveland, Vegas, and now with the Minnesota Vikings. And I read something cool. You didn't get the start, but I read this in a couple locations. You are considered the best backup in the NFL. No shame in that, man. That's an awesome title. I mean, how's that feel to know you made that kind of name for yourself in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to evaluate backups if they're on the sidelines, I guess. But no, you're appreciative. You definitely want to carve out a role on the team and in the NFL, and got to make a name for yourself and take advantage of opportunities when you get them. So now it's just a matter of just staying focused, staying disciplined, always being ready, and just thankful for being in Minnesota. It's a great spot. Great people here. Kirk is awesome. Coach O'Connell's awesome. Chris O'Hara and Wes Phillips, our OC and quarterback coach. We have great people here, and definitely a great spot to be able to work and play football.
Best of luck this season. A lot of Southern Miss fans becoming Viking fans. Nick Mullens is on the team. And one more Minnesota tie with the Southern Miss tie, pretty cool going on over on the baseball team there. Minnesota, Matt Wallner's making big waves over there. Do you and Matt connect a lot?
Yeah, I'm a fan. Twins are my hometown team now. I got the Twins game on the TV right now.
Did Matt hit a home run?
I've been to. He has a couple hits tonight. Nice. But I've been to 3 games. I sent him a good luck message when he got brought up. So yeah, I'm a huge I love sports. The Twins are right down the street. Southern Miss guy, wore his jersey to our preseason game. So yeah, I'm all aboard the Matt Wallner and Twins bandwagon for sure.
Oh, very cool. A lot of people loving Minnesota, the city, and the SFTTT Nation, and great stuff right there with an incredible football career you had. And now kind of give you an opportunity. We see you on social media, such a beautiful family life you have. What's some updates on the family side of things, Nick?
Well, we're expecting our 3rd child. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, just 2 little boys, 4 and 1.5. So just kind of in that chapter of life right now, young family, just trying to keep the career going. I'm definitely thankful for a lot of blessings, and it's awesome. Playing football is cool, but being a dad is the best. I don't know, we got a park right down the street, just playing at the park. Son's finally learning how to catch and throw, so play a little catch here and there. So it's fun, man. It's what life is all about, and so I can't complain.
Oh, yeah, great way to put that, man. My kids are a little bit more grown now, but nothing like being a dad, man, especially when they're little. It's just some good times. So thanks for the family update. So, Nick, as we kind of wrap things up right here, I mean, the school's all-time leading passer at Southern Miss, 2-time Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year, without a doubt, a future Hall of Famer at Southern Miss. What's a message you have for the Southern Miss Nation?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that comes to my mind is if you want the program to be good, then support the program. That's kind of the day and age that we're in. And no matter what your support looks like, whether it's going to games or just wearing your colors around town, getting to know the players, support the program because that's what Hattiesburg feeds off of. And if Southern Miss does good, Hattiesburg does good, then we all do good. And I'll always believe that.
Oh, what a great message from an absolute Southern Miss legend right there. But Nick, once again, thank you enough. And I think a great way to close the show would be for the great Nick Mullens and myself giving the Southern Miss Nation a big Southern Miss.
To the top.
To the top. Well, that's it for another edition of Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime. And if you're enjoying the show, I'm going to ask you to do something that's absolutely free and easy to do, and that's just help spread the word of the show. That's all I ask. It's free and easy to do. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at the Rock this Saturday for the battle, for the bell, and I want the Rock to be a little salty, a little chippy, a little nasty, and vicious at times. Why not? I want Tulane to get on the bus post-game and act like what the hell just happened. Well, until next time, as always, it's Southern Miss to the top.